just gonna wait for a few people to come on before we completely start this video. Hi. Let's see if I can fix that lighting. There we go. That works. I'm just gonna wait for a few people. There we go. Okay, so live video I promised actually on Sundays, but it just wasn't gonna happen today, or wasn't gonna happen on Sunday. So anyway, we are going to do a full start to finish, full face model makeup that I would normally do on models, or especially ones that are doing more of the lingerie or the sexy. Tonight's theme is seduction. We're going to go through products, we're going to go through technique, we're going to go through my full routine, start to finish, and that's exactly what it is, a routine. Because once you get your makeup down and you have a routine to it, you can put on a full face in under 30 minutes. This video will obviously be a lot longer than 30 minutes as I'm explaining everything as we're going through. And I have my little buddy here, Morph, the morphing octopus that you saw in my description when I told you I was going live, and here his angry face is. I'm so tickled with this thing, I love it. Anyway, so as you can see, I just got out of the shower. When I do my makeup, I don't like getting dressed first. A lot of my darker eyeshadow pigments can drop onto my shirt, and if I'm wearing a light colored shirt, now I've got to change. And a lot of our shirts we got to pull over our head, but if you missed patting in any of your foundation under here, and didn't set it right, you're gonna drag foundation all over your clothes. So I just prefer to put on something loose that I can take off either over the top or over the bottom with no risk of touching my clothing. So anyway, and we'll go through all of that in a minute. The next big thing is your space. You obviously want somewhere that has a lot of good lighting. I prefer just a few lights. That's just me. I work better that way. You want a clean space. If I could take you down and show you my whole space, I would. I've got 3 drawers down here where everything is organized by eyes, face, lips. And then I have my super easy ready-go box that has all of my small things that could easily get lost, like pencils. That I don't really want to go searching through a bunch of drawers for. It just takes more time, it makes my makeup take longer, and eventually could lead to you being late or not finishing your makeup, period. So we're going to start very beginning. I've already put the stuff in my hair that, because this is not a hair video, that I would normally do, but I do my hair after my makeup. Some people prefer to do their makeup after they do their hair, but I have bangs that come down to my eyebrows, and I don't want to be putting on foundation while I'm trying to move my bangs out of the way. So I leave my hair wet and I just brush everything back away from my face, because what I see a lot of women do, especially women that don't have super straight hairlines, or do it with their hair down and already styled, they don't get their foundation all the way back. And so you end up with this ring, because most foundations you can get very, very close to your skin, but to a trained eye, they're going to notice that you have a ring. To people who maybe don't do makeup for a living, I certainly don't do it for a living, but obviously it's a passion of mine. And I do like events and things like that, but we'll notice real quick. So anyway, so I've got my hair brushed back. I'm not going to put any ponytails in it because I don't want any creases. And I'm going to go for starting with my primer. I always do my eye makeup first, but before I do anything, I prime my face. It's really hard to fully prime your face if you've already got super precise eye makeup already done. You're going to miss some of it. And I prime my eyes while I'm with it. So here's my favorite. We went over this in the last video. My Soft Focus Glow Drops, put out by Radial. It's pink for red canceling. As you can see, I've got a little bit of red undertones. If you don't know what your undertones are, again, I encourage you to hook up with a makeup artist at, Sephora, Ulta Beauty, or wherever it is that you like to buy your makeup. Probably not Walmart. I don't think they employ makeup artists. If so, I would have applied. But anyway, ask them what your undertones are. That's all part of color theory. A big part of makeup is color theory. What are the undertones in makeup? Are you looking at gold undertones? Are you looking at browns? And how does that illuminate or create the look that you want? So really understanding color theory is understanding makeup. Makeup is not just about the application. It's about how does it come across to the viewer and how does it come across to you? And how does it work with your already natural pigments? I have cool undertones in my skin, but because of autoimmune diseases, I do have some red pigmentation in my face. I also have ice blue eyes, so obviously everything's gonna pop against them. Cooler tones might actually be hidden a little bit more because my eyes are gonna outdraw my shadow. But anyway, so with this, you just put a few drops here and there. It's just a little squeezy top, kind of like how kids' ibuprofen and stuff comes. Maybe. He doesn't like me today. All right, so there we go. And then I just take the pads of my fingers and I rub it through. So the one thing I didn't tell you that I had already done prior to brushing my hair and getting on here was my jade roller. I do that every time I get out of the shower, fresh after cleansing my face. It makes a big difference. You may not think that it does because it seems like you're doing so little, but sometimes so little is just enough. And you can see I'm spending a lot more time around my eye skin here. I'm really just trying to press that in. I take a lot of my pigments underneath my eye. And so I want those pigments to pop without running. A lot of mistakes that I see with makeup on a day-to-day basis is when you try to place the shadows under here, it runs because it's not properly set. So makeup is a multi-step system, and if you do one thing wrong, as far as application goes, making a super technical error, a lot of your other makeup's gonna show the same thing. So I've primed it. My face is primed. I'm not gonna do anything else with my face for a while. I do all of my eye makeup first. The second thing that I'm going to do is I'm gonna prime my eyelids. Eyelid primer and face primer are different. They're a different structure. Your eye skin is the most delicate skin on your face. The more you pull and twist and all that on it, the more wrinkles, lines, and sagginess you're gonna get. So that is not a technique that I encourage. I do not encourage pulling your eye to even get straight eyeliner. Ladies, freehand your eyeliner. Practice it till you can do it. It will save your eyes later on in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We've all seen it. Pretty sure we can all figure out what that's going to look like later on. So I just use my pinky or your ring finger. Your ring finger, actually, because all the muscles are attached at other places, it doesn't have as much strength as all the rest of your fingers do. I just use my pinky because I can dab it into the smaller places. My preference, you do your preference. All of my products are not going to work for everybody. These are what works for me. I figured it out by trial and error. You can figure it out by trial and error too. Everybody's skin works a little bit different. When they say we are all created equal, they're wrong. We weren't. Every skin type is different, and some of us hate it, some of us love it. It's just your personal preference. So do some trial and error. If you're not big into makeup, you'll have a little more trial and error than those of us who have been doing it for a while. Now that I've put that primer on, I'm just putting a little bit of my illuminating drops under it, on top of it. I just feel that this gives more of a shimmer to my eyeshadows whenever I do get them on. Again, personal preference. This is just me. Some of my desires or what I'm doing, I've just learned by figuring it out and going back to my fundamentals. So I get a lot of questions about how I get the really straight line with my eyeshadow. And I'm going to tell you guys, I cheat. I love to cheat. I will cheat every chance that I get with my makeup to make it go a little bit faster, but maintaining technique. There are, I guess you can say it's a shortcut, but there's not many shortcuts to good makeup. Where did I put it? And guys, this is how I do it. Scotch tape. This is not face tape. This isn't anything else. It's Scotch tape, like you'd wrap Christmas presents with or birthday presents. So I'll show you how this works in a minute. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sculpt out my eyebrows. I don't like this super sculpted, super straight lines, really high arches. Look, that's not me. If it's you, I can do a video about how to do that. But for the sake of this video and what I'm doing tonight, I don't want to have the super sculpted eyebrows. So I just take my tone in Anastasia. Anything close to my eyes, guys, is going to be a little bit higher end for me because I don't, with the autoimmune diseases, my eyes just don't work. My lymphatic system just doesn't work the way that other people's does. And certain brands, especially the drugstore makeup, just doesn't do well for me. It causes a lot of inflammation, itchiness that I just don't want to deal with. So you can find all of these products in a drugstore brand. NYX, what's a couple of Hard Candy, I know has a few. They're out there, and Hi Nikki. So you just have to shop around, especially if you're on a really tight budget. So anyway, this is just kind of done like your mascara. I just follow my natural line. I'm just following the way that my hair naturally grows. I got them waxed today, so it's gonna be way better. I follow my own natural arch. I know some people who really like to create their own arches. As you can see, the difference between them already. So anyway, we're going to do the other one. I will always show you the difference between one side and the other while we're going through this. I won't always be looking at the camera because I need to look in my own mirror. I don't like doing makeup from a camera. The lighting hits different, so no big deal. But anyway, so we're just going to do the other side. And then I will show you how I cheat. Alright. And if I go too fast, somebody say something because I'm used to doing this entire look in about 20 minutes, getting up in the morning, and that's the first thing I do is throw it on and I'm good to go. So anyway, here comes my cheat sheet. You're going to get about an inch, half inch, just kind of depending on what you're doing. If you're just going here to here, half inch is great. I tend to take it out a little bit. One of my eyebrows is slightly shorter than the other as far as their tails go, so I off-play that by creating an illusion with my eyeshadow. So anyway, I don't know how to explain how I place these. I know a certain shape of eyeshadow that I like. It's going to be your personal preference again. I usually go from just under the corner of my eye because I bring those eyeshadows down, so I want it slightly past the corner of my eye. And I take it to where this tail, if it were the same length as this one, would naturally be. I have a pretty good sense of my own body, how my face symmetry is naturally versus the symmetry I want to create. You will see I do bolder looks. Sometimes I don't do complete symmetry, and those are on purpose. Those looks are done purposely that way. And sometimes you might have to take it off and place it again. Just like, I like to see where my light hits it because that's exactly where my eyeshadow would be, and I can imagine the shape in my head. If you're not that familiar with how you do makeup, do this a few times. Remember how it looks. Take a picture of it. That way, when you go to place these again, it's a little bit easier to imagine that. On this one, we're going from corner of eye to tail. This one's my naturally longer one, so we're just going to keep it the same, and that's what's going to create our symmetry. Everybody's face is not symmetrical. One of your eyes is slightly larger or has a slightly different shape than the other one. The hump between your two lips are not always the same height or the same shape. Mine are not the same shape. One is more rounded than the other one. So as you're staring at your face, start pinpointing the differences between the sides of your face. If you have to put something on one side and look at this, and then put it on the other and look at it and try to spot, do the kindergarten material of spot the difference, then that's what you need to do, because go with the side you like. I like this side of my face a little bit better. and create the symmetry over here, the illusion that it's perfectly symmetrical. So, and it's all about symmetry, precision, and how you choose your colors against your skin. Okay, so now that I've got my tape good and stuck, this roll of tape is a little bit older, so sometimes I have to hold it just a little longer than the others. I can't, oh, okay. I was reading, sorry. And we're gonna go with that. So we're going with a seductive look tonight. I just thought it would be fun, real fun. So I'm going to pull out some of my basic palettes. Obviously, like I showed you in the video, my James and Morphe is a super go-to. For those of you who have never seen it, you have your whole array of colors from nudes and lights to very vibrant neons. The other thing I'm pulling out is my Athena face paint, because I will show you guys really kind of what I do with this. I'm pulling out my brushes. These brushes are just my eye brushes. My face brushes stay in another place. And I'm just keeping my eye drawer open. And I'm pulling out my color swatch, because if I need to use the same brush, which I don't like doing, but if I need to, I can swatch off the power and go here. So tonight I'm doing a full cut crease. I'm not doing a 3/4. So the other night, the one that I posted where it was blues and pinks, that was a 3/4 cut. But we're gonna go all the way tonight. Anyway, this look, especially since I'm gonna be explaining it, is going to take me more time to do while I'm explaining. But anyway, let's get started. And if anybody has any questions, I will be reading the comments as we go through. So just ask me, and as I see it, I'll answer it as we're just sitting here holding conversation, which sometimes feels like a one-sided conversation to me. Anyway, I am starting with my big fluffy brush, which is my Morphe M441, because I'm just going in with a natural color, because if you set your color, I'm going in with this guy up here. It's a beige, really skin tone. You know, if I put it on, you won't see it. But if you set it and you put a base on, all of your other shadows are going to blend evenly together. And I start here at my crease and I work it up before I work it into my lid. I don't want a lot of powder in my lid as I'm going to do a cut crease, because the more powder that gets into my lid, the more I have to cover up or clean up, and I don't like redoing things that I've already done. That's a technique that you'll have to figure out how your hand works, how your makeup works. I know how my shadows fall or don't fall. A lot of mine don't have a lot of fallout, so once I put them on the brush and start putting them on the skin, they don't fall lower. My biggest one that does that is one of my blacks from a different brand. But black is almost always going to do that. So it's just a super pigmented dark color. So I'm just going in, I'm creating a base for everything to sit on. All of this is one color. I'm coming a little bit down into my lid just because I know I'm creating a false crease. I have hooded eyes, therefore my crease is hidden quite a bit. And I like to just create a false one just above it. That way you can see the technique of what I actually did. If I were to do a cut crease in my normal crease, you wouldn't see it. So there would be no reason for me to do it. A lot of us with hooded eyes, it's really hard for us to find videos of cut creases, because a lot of hooded eyed people don't like doing them because they don't understand how to create an illusion of a false crease. So if you have hooded eyes, this is a great video for you. This will not upload to my YouTube channel simply because Facebook does not like me copying my own work in order to upload it. So anyway, I'm trying to keep the camera at the best angle to keep the yellow light from hitting it so harshly and making me look like I'm gold. So anyway, that's all I did. I'm coming in with that. I'm then going to choose my darkest color that I'm going to come out with, and I haven't seriously considered what my darkest color is going to be. If your darkest color is going to be black, don't do this with black. Do this with the brown below it, because you want the black to be the very last thing you do. So let me just tell you that much. I'm creating, okay, so makeup design. I'm creating this look as we go in. I'm not coming in with a look that I already pre-planned like most of my videos. I came in with a theme. My theme is seduction, right? So in my mind, seduction is smoky cut creases, or a glamorous smoky eye with some glitter, or a really natural brown and blue based smoky. When I think of sexy, I think of Mazikeen from Lucifer and how she's always wearing that black smoky eye. So that's one of my favorite things. So I'm going to come in, I'm probably going to do I haven't even decided. You know what? I'll let you know as I'm creating it in my head, because I have not decided what I'm doing yet. Great planning. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up my tones. I'm going to choose my precision brush wherever it went. Sometimes it gets turned upside down and I don't recognize it from its other end. Turned upside down. Anyway, it's just a angled brush. If you don't know how to do cut creases, this is an easy way to cheat, to get your precision while you're learning how this cut crease is formed. And I'm going in with a very light color that I can easily cover up if I don't like it. So I'm going to go in with a brown. It's kind of beigey. Your angled brush should dig into your shadow, like that's how stiff it should be to get the precision. And I am going to map out my false crease. If you are creating a false crease, I highly suggest getting the angled brush and mapping this out. Creating a false crease is a difficult skill. If you have hooded eyes and you do this technique, you need to do this part. If you do not have hooded eyes and you're doing a cut crease, you can kind of forget about this part. You don't need this extra guide. I always do the extra guide for precision purposes and getting them even between my eyes. Like I said, not everybody's face is perfectly symmetrical. So we are going to look at my eyebrow in conjunction to where I've created my line. You can't see it because it's that light, but we're going to look at them in conjunction to each other, and I'm going to recreate it in conjunction to this eyebrow, not to the eye, to the eyebrow, because that's what's going to create the illusion of symmetry. So we're going to place that right about there. I know where to place them. I've done this enough times that I can look at my own eye and remember a look that I've done and go straight for it. If you have not done this as many times as I have, do out your measurements. If you need to use your brush as a focal point, do that. Whatever makes the technique work. And I'm going to draw my line all the way down into this corner over here, okay? And then I'm going to look at them and I'm going to see if they maintain the same shape. If not, you just go in with your really light powder that you've already chosen because you can cover it up. And you just redraw I like this eye better. They're slightly different, and I like this one better. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to make the slight change needed to this one to make it. This guide is just giving you a place to start so you don't have as much to cover up. I know a lot of people, we just go in with our fluffy brushes. I do this too. Go in with our fluffy brushes and we create it, and then we swipe all the stuff away that we don't want with concealer, with face paint, whatever it is that we do. And we call it good. But if you're new to this, this is an easy way for you to, it's like coloring in the lines, for you to stay more in the area that you're looking for. than getting down below and now you've got, we're getting into more complex technical techniques if you're not quite ready for them. If you are, great, go for it. I will show you how to clean it up in this video. It won't be to the extreme that it could get, but it'll be there. So now I'm going to go in with, once I find it, it's not going to be in any of those or those. I'm looking for a specific color because I just created this in my mind. That one will work. Okay, I like this one. So this is Evening Glamour by Blick. I've got a really pretty silver up here that I'm going to be using. I don't like to do a lot of my lid color the same as any of my brow color. So I'm going to keep that. I was thinking about it as I was coming through. But here it is. Okay. I like this black better than I like my other one. Better than my Morphe. Only because this is not as pigmented. It'll come out more of a gray, which is what I'm wanting for right now. I cannot stop my video to answer that. Hang on 1 second, guys. Let me answer this because I need to. Apparently it did. Okay. So this one, the case is buxom, but I actually built this shadow palette. I don't remember what shadow I put in here. I don't remember the brand. If I think of it, and it might be buxom, but it doesn't sound like me to buy buxom's products. So anyway, I know a lot of people start in the middle. When you are doing a cut crease, you want your darkest pigment out here. So you've got it all out concentrated on your brush right now. So I start here, and remember you've got the tape to guide you. Anything that hits this tape isn't going anywhere else. You're going to come out with a solid, straight line. I really need to get this lighting under control. Anyway, another thing about my space that I want to change. So I'm starting out here near the tape. If I were doing any other technique, I would be starting in the middle as well. But because I am working with black and because I am working with a 100% cut crease, I am doing it this way. And we are going to blend this black up till it meets my tape and my brow. It is going to create a very dramatic wing. But if we are doing sexy, seductive, and we're like just going for it, basically kind of a bar look, I don't know. We want dramatic. I'm also doing red lips tonight. That I did come in planned already. So I plan my eye makeup around the fact that I want to do red lips. And this black, I'm picking up little by little. I do not want this coming out charcoal. Not right now. I will later, but not right now. As you can see, it's coming out gray, which is what I want. Because with a cut crease, things are a bit reversed. Your super duper concentrated dark pigment is right there where you're going to cut that crease. I do that with a precision brush. Some people just pack this on and then cut it out. And that's fine too. Those two techniques for this process is fine. I just have my preferred. And because this is not a do it and take off makeup that I'm doing, I'm going to just do my way and not demonstrate the other one. I will demonstrate the other one at a later point though. I'm going back in now and I'm concentrating my dark line. Okay, I'm blending. This is a small blending brush. This is not usually used for packing, but because I have to be very precise with this technique, I am just slightly picking up some pigment and I'm putting it on, and I'm picking up some pigment and I'm putting it on. I am blue-eyed, so black really looks well with me. Light brown, hazel eyes, black really works well. If you have eyes like my daughter and you can't tell your pupil between them, between your iris and your pupil, black sometimes tends to look more satanic than it does then it does sexy. So just be aware of your tones. Be aware of how it looks on you. If you are going for the super goth satanic looks, I am all about it. Go for it. It won't come across that way on me because my skin is different. So I have my basic outline working for me here. You can see I've brought it all the way to my corner. I did not touch my corner. I am cutting the crease. It should not touch your corner. Hi, Trumaine. Hi, Cassie. And then I swooped it. So I came up, I apexed here in the middle of my brow. So that is my highest point. And then I brought it down and I swooped it back up here. You can see here's my tape, here's my tail. I don't want them to touch. I want the slightest bit of space between them because this isn't the only color I'm using. I'm going to blend out while maintaining this shape. If that makes any sense, it will make more sense as we go along. I am going to come over here and we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to follow what I have already put in motion here when we drew out our template. Does anybody have questions to this point? And liquid eyeliner will be covered in this video. Those of you who wanted it on Sunday and I didn't feel very good. I was feeling pretty sick, and then yesterday I was going to do something and me and my dumb ass fell down my stairs. So that didn't go over too well either. So today just seemed like the day to do a full video. I'm being way quicker on this side only because I do have somewhere to be tonight, so I don't have all the time in the world to walk you through every little step on both sides. So I'll walk you through one step on one side and then I'm just going to complete it on the other side. If I could do the fun video editing where I just fast forward and both sides are done, I would absolutely do that. But because this is a new medium for me, as far as getting my makeup tutorials out on social media, I deleted an old YouTube channel. That YouTube channel was hacked and I was getting a lot of harassment from it. So I switched some things around. I changed the name, so there's no videos left on it. But anyway, as I'm starting to get my media presence back up, you'll find me on TikTok under Little Peaches 1, LILPEACHES 1. You'll find my Gypsy Classic Black look that had the neon going. So anyway, you'll find that on there. I will always have pictures as I'm starting to get my social media presence going back up. I will have pictures on TikTok of things that maybe I didn't present in a video, like the black look I did the other night. Until I get a code test and fall back. Well, I'm glad you didn't fall down your stairs. That's great. By sick, I don't mean like acute infection sick. It's just a flare-up of the autoimmune diseases. I live with it daily. It is what it is, and you know, it's changed some things in my life. It's changed my profession. I've sort of taken a different route now, and it's changed some of my outlook on certain things. So I can't say it's been a fully negative experience having the autoimmunes, but it certainly hasn't been fun. Anyway, okay, so there's my black. We will go back in and pigment that later. So, like I said, after doing a color, I like to swatch my brush to get the powders off. You cannot have good makeup unless you take care of your brushes. If you spend money on anything, please spend money on some nice brushes. Like Morphe is, I love Morphe's brushes. And they are fairly affordable. I think like $5 a brush, or if you can catch them on a sale, you'll get them there too. But anyway, that's my advice. If you're going to do anything technical, that's not just a dab on the palette and swipe it over your lid. If you're going to do anything beyond that, please invest in a good set of brushes. It does not have to be one brand. Obviously, mine are not all one brand. I've got these Morphe, the I Don't Know brand, and Luna Mac. it just really depends on what I'm looking for. And I feel the brushes. I'm a really tactile person, so I'm looking at feeling the brushes. So the shirt I'm wearing has some greens, it's got some reds, and it's mostly black. So I'm really, really open to anything that I could do right here. So I am going to, because I'm taking silver on the lid, I'm actually thinking I might go a purple route. I really like how my blue eyes work with purple. But I'm not going to go like super vibrant purple because I want the silver on my lid to be the popping factor. I am also going to kind of create a negative space. That is another super precise technical. And the only reason I am doing that is because I'm going to hide some glitter in there. And I'm gonna back that space in, so it's not gonna be an open space like a true negative space would be, but I'm going to create the negative space at first so that I have something to base my glitter in. I am going to go in with a slightly puffier brush because my black is really the only thing that I need this swoopy shape for. Everything else is background to my black and my lid. So I'm going to go in with a slightly fluffier brush, which is going to be my Luxie 243. I didn't know you were changing things with a career. Yes, actually, I secured funding to get my master's in respiratory therapy, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to take a pediatric approach to it. So I may not be able to start pediatric once I first start as a respiratory therapist, but then I am going to work into the pediatric specialty. I really miss my kiddos. I will still maintain my paramedic, and as treatments start working for me, I may be able to get back in the field some. I do fully intend on still keeping that and staying up to date with education and all of that going. But I am going to move forward with that degree in respiratory therapy, which I've already started, and I graduate with the bachelor's portion early next year, and then it'll just be one more year after that with my master's. So thankfully for me, the funding was secured, and it's out of no cost for me. I know not everybody is that lucky. I'm going to come in with a mulberry color, this guy. So mulberry, talking about color theory here, mulberry is a purple shade, but it has brown undertones. I love brown undertones for blending, especially if I don't want a super poppy background. And I don't. A lot of my looks, you will find a super popping background. And that's because I'm trying to draw my attention here versus my lid. But today my intention is opposite of that. And I take my eyeshadow to my brow. But this is going to be my intermittent color. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going over my black. I don't know if you can see it building here, but between the two, you see this side versus this side. Straight black, we got some blending going on. That's my mulberry. So I'm just dabbing a little bit on my fluffy brush, and I'm coming in here and I'm moving along the edge of my black here, just to get the color on there first before I blend, but that also creates a gradient between the black and the mulberry. So there's not this super there's not this super harsh line between them. I don't like harsh lines unless it's a cut crease, but then the only harsh line should be this guy down here, not up there, and we haven't created that line yet, so it should still be properly blended. Blend, blend, blend is a super big technical error. I see it a lot, and I'm really tired of seeing it. So hopefully these videos will cut down on how much I see those harsh lines and no blending. A lack of blending makes things really boxy. It makes things it highlights things you don't want highlighted versus creating this super beautiful glowing gradient. So can you tell the difference between the both sides? Harsh, blended with mulberry. Less harsh. Harsh, blended with mulberry. If you're watching and you see the difference, please send me a thumbs up or drop a comment. Let me know that you can tell the difference. So we are going to come over here. And I wish I had like music in the background, but for some reason my stereo wanted to crap out on me. So yay me, no music in the background. Because normally it breaks up the silence pretty good and I don't have to continuously talk. And sometimes I won't talk because I'm a fantastic multitasker until it comes to certain things about my makeup, and then my mouth just hangs open like everybody's does, and it's super funny, and I have to just concentrate on what I'm doing really quick. And if I stop talking, I usually get it done a lot quicker. But if you ask my boyfriend, I don't shut up. If I shut up, there's a problem. Usually. I'm usually nervous or in a lot of pain if I'm not talking. So we are just going to... Okay, nobody has dropped me a comment if you could see the difference. I'm going to bring up Morph here, people. Okay. Morph is upset. I don't know if y'all can see the difference. So I do not know how well my video is coming across. So please drop that comment if you're watching, if you could tell the difference between the two sides before I started on this side. If someone drops me a comment and says yes, I'll turn Morph back to his happy side. Okay, Morph, my mood octopus is what I call him. I love my mood octopus. My boyfriend bought him for me at the mall the other day because I kept seeing the TikTok stuff and sending it to him, which I thought was super cute, and I never thought he would get it for me, but he did. So I have been tickled to death by it, and we went out to eat that night that he got it for me, since open dining is back open here in Colorado, and I used it to gauge the waitress's service. So anyway, the first place we were at, I literally didn't see the waitress, or I'm sorry, not the waitress, the waiter, for a really, really long time. And I kept sitting there waiting because I needed something. And I seriously thought about getting up and asking somebody. So I turned Morph inside out and to the angry face. And when the waiter came back, he kind of looked at it and looked at me. I was like, well, what do you know? How else was I supposed to get somebody's attention? Obviously, nobody was, paying attention to my hand waves over here. Anyway, thank you, Cassie. I will turn Morph back inside out. Okay, there we go. Morph's happy again. Yes, my mood octopus. I love my mood octopus. Anyway, I'm such a child. Okay, so we're blending out the sides. Obviously, since this guy is my slightly shorter side, I am bringing this out just a little bit more to create the illusion that my brow is actually there. I could draw it in if I wanted to, but if I only drew in this little bitty tiny section, it would be so noticeable. So I have found that the best way for me personally, again, this is a personal preference, to create the illusion that it is not shorter, is to bring my eyeshadow out where it naturally would be, because you kind of lose the tail in the eyeshadow. I have a little bit of too much pigment here, so I'm bringing in a really, really fluffy blending brush, and I'm trying to pick up that pigment and move it. Mistakes happen. I am not perfect with everything I do in my makeup. They happen. That's why we have these other brushes, okay? You can correct almost any mistake. If your eyeshadow gets too dark and you don't like it, put some white on it. Don't take it off. You take it off and you get makeup remover here. You're not getting makeup back on that till you go wash and cleanse your face again. And even then, it is difficult to put makeup back on top of where you just had a remover. So please put some white in there. You can mute almost any color with white. The easiest thing to mute, obviously, is your really dark tones with blacks. I notice when I start getting into some of my more neon tones, I end up with super muddy looking pastels when I add white to them, but I have techniques for that. And you don't add white, you add, this is where color theory comes in, you add its undertone, and it will pull the undertone forward instead of the neon. Or if you don't want that undertone, you pack on top the warmer color that you're wanting. So like my yellow here, I'll give you an example. My yellow down there above the green It actually has a really green undertone to it to give it that super bright pigmented yellow. If I didn't want that much yellow, I would take some green and put it on top, and I would blend those two together. If I didn't want that much of a green look to it, I would go and I'd find my other yellow that is more neon based, so different undertones, and I would try putting that on top and then mute it with a little bit of white. And it would probably, I say probably because I haven't done it, probably bring out the tone that I am wanting. Okay, so now I have these super blended together. I don't know if you can see the super beautiful gradient with the mulberry, but I can. Okay, I love it. Again, it is not my crazy, like what I would normally do, like you've been seeing me. This is where I slice off from the rest of society. I don't follow a dark, lighter, light of the same color palette gradient. Not my thing. I really love going against the grain. I think makeup against the grain is the prettiest makeup out there. Everybody can create a dark purple, light purple, even lighter purple to white gradient. It is not hard. It is really, really not hard. What is hard is when you take two opposing colors and pair it with another one. So here I have two colors. I can't really say that they're from opposite color spectrums. Obviously black, it's a reflection of all color. So anything you build on black, black is obviously going to be your lowest gradient. But I have a purple. My mulberry that I put in there has a little bit of a gold shine to it. I don't think I can show it to you in the video, but as we're looking at this mulberry, there is some gold-ish flecks in there. So for this small sliver up here near my brow, I'm actually going to pick up some gold and I'm going to put it there, and you will see the gold if you were in person, not on video. And I'm going to actually pick up an angled brush for this because I need more precision since my eyebrows are already sculpted out. I don't want to get the shadows into my eyebrows. If I hadn't done my eyebrows first, it wouldn't be as important to use the angled brush. You could go in with your fluffy brush, but I always do my eyebrows first. It's just a preference. In order to start my gold building, because my gold is glitter based, so it's not going to come across pigmented, I'm going to take, hi Isabel, I miss you guys. I haven't seen you guys in forever. How are you and Yvonne doing? I'm going to come in with this guy here. My light's hitting it funny. It is a really muted gold. It is a pigment gold, but it's got a little bit of sparkle to it versus just a glitter base. And I'm going to start it here. I brought the mulberry all the way up to just the tiniest sliver at the top. So, awesome. And the twins, I am going to, and I'm following what I sculpted. So I am not worried about maintaining. I know, but I thought about going back to Texas, and there actually was a point last year where we were headed back. And that's still kind of in the plans, but more the Dallas area with Colton's diagnosis of Schwachman-Diamond, and all the complications that have come with that. We've had to pull on a lot of researching teams, and Dallas Children's Research Hospital has pulled us into a lot of their hematology blood studies that surround Schwachman-Diamond and other myelodysplastic diseases. So right now, because of where I need to stay as far as insurance and financially until at least the summer of this year, Dallas Children's is pairing up with Colorado Children's and treating us here. But there are still some plans to maybe come back to the Dallas area. Dallas area because that's where the hospital is, but I also have a sister who lives there, so more family for me. But and I've already got like my intent to relocate and all of that signed by the judge. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, we'll see where we're at. But anyway, so I'm coming in and I'm just packing in. I'm not like super worried about packing this guy. I'm laying it down so that my gold will come on top of it. So, And for those of you just joining, we are doing a 100% cut crease where I will create a negative space in order to fill that negative space with glitter. So it's not a true negative space. If it was a true negative space, we would just leave it. And, you know, put a white shadow in there so you've got the actual negative space, so nothing in it. If I say a term you guys don't understand or don't know what that means, please ask me. Sometimes I forget that not all of my audience is as into makeup theory as I am. If I thought I could make a full living off of just doing makeup and I didn't have a heart for the medical field and wasn't already a paramedic and in school, I would just do makeup all the time. I got a lot of things going on the other side of my life. So anyway, I am packing in my gold now. I don't know, actually, if the light catches it, you can see it right here. This shine right here is the gold coming in. I love the contrast that gold puts into just my face, period, especially because I have red undertones. Gold and silver are some of my favorites. Now, some of you are probably thinking, but you're doing silver on the lid, so why are you doing gold up next to your eyebrow? Because gold and silver go together. A lot of people will tell you they don't. They do. They are metallics. Metallic colors are in and of itself its own color palette. So if you have metallics in there, adding another metallic in a different part of your makeup is completely acceptable. So I just wouldn't create a bunch of gradients with it. Like, I wouldn't do a silver to gold gradient because they're going to mesh together. A lot of your metallic shadows are going to be glitter based, which is why we did that base before we did the actual metallic gold on top. Anyway, so now I've got a really gorgeous gradient going on here. But as you can see, we've lost a little bit of our black. So how are we going to get that back? Oh no. Okay, I'll fix it. Watch. I knew this would happen, so no big deal. I'm going in with a very precise precision brush, okay? Because I don't want a lot of that black back. I just want the thinnest area of it back. And this is where the technique really becomes about precision, okay? So that same precision brush that I drew it out with, there's a thicker version to it. This is the guy I'm coming back in with, is the thicker version, and it's the Morphe M158. This is the Anastasia 12. In comparison, it would probably be, as far as brush width goes, it's about, this one, the Morphe 158, is about, I don't know, 2 of these brushes put together. Probably. Maybe 1.5. 2. I'd go 2. So I'm coming in and I am taking a good part of my black back. And I am covering the edge of that with my black. And I will tell you why. And this is the part I will not be able to talk to you through because this is super, super precise. If you do not have a steady hand, I will do another video of how to make it look like you did it the way that I'm about to do it. Okay? So I'm coming in and I'm actually going above, just slightly above, where I originally drew it, so you will see some of the shadow below, and I am drawing my shape back in there. Okay, so kind of like we did with the brown earlier, and we drew our shape in there. You're doing it again, except this time it's permanent. You can't cover this one up. Well, not permanent, but you can't cover this one up. And I am using, I started that one with my Buxom because it is gray, and if I have to cover it up, it's a little bit easier to blend out because I've already got this one on there. But then I'm going to go in with my Morphe, and my Morphe is the one that is really, really pigmented that I don't like starting with because it's a lot harder to blend out into gray. You will start noticing as you do what I did and you're collecting eyeshadow palettes. Some brands are really pigmented, and they are harder to blend because they are so pigmented. This black on this Morphe specifically is that way. I haven't noticed it really with any of the other colors, just the black. And black tends to typically be the one that brands do that with. That would be one where I would end up coming in with a white to try and mute it out, and I don't really have a desire to do that today. So remember that since this is black, this is the part that is going to draw people's eye to you. Okay, so now I am going to go in with my Morphe 152. It is kind of a triangular shaped brush. I do really well with precision with this brush, and I will show you what I'm doing. I am not going to go above this line that we just drew. I'm going to stay below it. I know that it's complete opposite of what I just told you to do earlier when we were doing the gradient, but this is where I start wiping things away. So I'm coming underneath it, careful to maintain my shape. I'm not like going super hard into my lid. I'm going to still try and stay as minimal as I can, but it's okay because I don't have all that extra fallout from the other shadows down there, and if I have to cover this up, it's not the end of the world. And I am really, really driving home my swoopy shape going on there. I'm really just driving this in, okay? I want this shape. End of story. It is here to stay. I am packing that black in there. As you can see, it's much more pigmented. I am coming up to my false crease here that I've already created, and I'm following it through. Now, I'm not going to keep this like intensive black all the way through. That's a little harsh. Which, if you like it, fine. It is not technically wrong. It is just not my preference. And I am working with this black right here, just because I got that shape right there just a little deeper than I wanted. So I'm slowly filling in that spoon, because if I fill it in too quickly, I'm going to lose the shape I just created, and I'm not going to be able to take it back without taking the makeup off, because once you go, end that story right there. I did not think about what I was about to say or who my audience was as I was saying that. Anyway, I'm driving this home. I'm creating a opposite gradient, so darker to light, as I'm coming in. Now, a lot of this black is in my natural crease, but as you'll see, a lot of it's above it. And above it is what I want, because when I come in and I actually cut it, that's where I'm going to get the creation of my false crease. And as I'm looking at my eye, I should see the black above my eyelid. And that's how I know I have created a false crease. And the reason I like this triangular brush is it has a point. So as you can see, and perfect example is it's not as rounded right here. So I'm starting to create a flat shape that I don't want to create. I can get in there with the really bitty tippiest part of my brush and just put that little bit of hump right where it's needed to round that shape back out just like that. So love it. Obviously it's really messy down here. Everything gets worse before it gets better. Okay. So because I walked you through this side, I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to put this side in. And if you have any questions, please ask now, because once we start getting below this, I'm not going to spend as much time on explaining what I've done up here. You can always go back and watch the video if you think you missed something, but once I start cutting this crease, there's a lot to explain about a cut crease, and I'm not going to want to go back as far as questions go. Not at this particular point. If at the end of the video you still have some like just dire questions that you just want to hear live, or you think somebody else does, or somebody that's watching with you has it and they can't contact me via Facebook, please go ahead and ask them at that time once I start cutting this crease, and I will tell you when I'm cutting it. I'm just putting this in. I'm doing exactly like I did over there, and I'm staying along the line that I just drew out, and I am not going above it. I personally do not care how much I get below it because I know how to cut this out. If you do not know how to cut it out, the less messy it is below the cut, the better. And then once you start learning how to cut it, then it's not quite as you can see, it's not quite as a big deal. This technique specifically, I did 4 times before I actually had one that I was happy with and would wear out in public. So a lot of makeup is practice and technique, and it's muscle memory. A lot of what I do, how I feel with it on my face, is muscle memory. I know how my face sits, I know how it feels, I know how my brushes feel against my face. Really pay attention as you're practicing these. Look, how did that feel in your fingers? How did that feel on your face? And it's going to be much, much easier for you to recreate it if you can remember how it felt. Humans are really tactile, some more than others. I personally am a really tactile person. And so how things feel is really important to me. Once you pass this part, if you need to touch up, if you feel like you lost some gradient by putting in that heavy black, I will show you how to do that, because I do feel like I lost a little bit of my mulberry, and I may go in with something a little bit brighter than my mulberry and mix it with my mulberry so that I don't feel like I lost as much against my intense black, which is mostly going to go away here in a minute. And you're going to see how that works. Again, this next step is all about precision. Precision, 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 precision. If I drive home anything today, it is precision and symmetry. This is where I come in with my Anastasia 12. I have 2 Anastasia 12s. One is specifically for cutting the crease and one is for drawing it out. I don't like mixing my stuff. So I do have 2 of them. One I was gifted through Ipsy Plus. Yeah, it was Ipsy. Anyway, I have concealer. Some people prefer to do it a different way. I actually do a 2-step process to cutting. This concealer is put out by Lip Sense. It is the Make Sense. It's the Advanced Anti-Aging Foundation. This is my skin tone. Okay, I'm trying to get away with some stuff right here. I don't want it to be super light, like so much lighter than my skin tone that you can tell, and I don't want it to be darker. I'm not contouring my eyeballs, okay? If you contour your eyeballs, I want to talk to you, because I want to talk to you. So you can see a lot of thick black here. It's all going away. It's all going away, and it's like a super magical process. It is so great. I love this part. It is so satisfying to me. Now I'm going to wipe off some of my brush here because I feel like I picked up too much concealer to create the precision that I want. And I am starting in the middle because I'm deciding how thick I want my black. And if I want it a little thinner, I'm going to move my concealer up. If I want it a little thicker, well, now I'm screwed. So always start thick with your black thick, because you can always make it a little thinner in pieces and pieces and pieces. Also, be careful with your concealer. If you shut your eye, if you open your eye all the way and you have hooded eyes, you're going to transfer that concealer to your upper portion that you've already done and sculpted out. And there is a way to fix that. I will do it just so I can show you how to fix it. But it's not, it can be time consuming to get it right. And I have some time, so. Alright, I am sculpting my shape again. So this makes the 3rd time we have sculpted our shape. except I'm going all the way down to the corner because I am sculpting out all of that black. And right now I'm just drawing the line. I'm not worried about covering the black right now. I will show you when I am worried about that, which is going to be here in just a minute. All right, so I have a good guideline to go by. So then I'm picking up my Morphe 410, and it's just a flat concealer brush. That's all it is. It is too thick to make that super precise shape. And now I'm packing in this concealer on the lid. I am staying in this shape. The edge of this brush can get to the line of your shape. I just don't like using it to draw my shape. You will notice some people use a much thicker brush to draw this shape. Not my preference. Again, to each their own, just not mine. And then once I get this in, I can take the tape off, which is wanting to come off because I didn't place it right. Anyway, tape's off. Super tight line here. I take the tape off because sometimes it's hard for the brush to really get up into that shape next to the tape. So I just bring it out free-handed. It's just concealer. It's just going to the side of my face. It will have a little bit of the black on it, and that's okay because you can take a pointed cotton swab, a little bit of micellar water, and just buff it up real quick. It's not a big deal. So again, now we're just going to do the other side, and again, I'm not going to talk to you a super lot through this part. I did it on that side. That is my better side. This side is a little bit harder for me to completely match. So, because it's the side where I don't bring the tail out as much because it is the longer brow side. While it's my easier side to do eyeshadow on, it is my harder side to cut the crease. So, yeah. And also the harder side for you guys to see, which is also another reason I prefer showing you my other side. And as you can see, it's muscle memory for me, so it goes much quicker for me than it may for you. And that is completely okay. Makeup isn't always about how fast you can do it unless you are a stage makeup artist and you are on a very strict time limit. If you want to know what that feels like, I suggest the European show Glow Up. It is pretty accurate as to like expectations, creativity, color theory. It is a game show, so the contestants are in it to win it. And there's some language, so if your children are a lot younger and you're really sensitive to like what language they hear, just kind of censor it out and you'll see. Kind of feel it out, and you'll get a feel for each contestant, and some are a little bit more vulgar than the others. So you'll just kind of have to feel it out. So, all right, we've cut it. As you can see, hey sissy, it's still a little murky because of the black, right? Well, this is my favorite part. I get to come in with my white face paint. If anything will cover black eyeshadow, it is face paint. However, I have noticed that if you don't have the concealer down first, you will get really murky face paint, and you have to keep building, and it's really just not fun to do that. I do have specific brushes that are just meant for my face paint because I don't like mixing them with my eyeshadow brushes. I am going to take my whiter. This is Morphe M167. I'm going to take my whiter one because I got a lot more area to cover. If I just had a really like super small area or super precise, I'd come in with this flat one, which is the Morphe M421. The flat brushes do better than bushy brushes with flat, firm brushes do better than any other brand, and I like Morphe better for the face paint than I have anything else. And I'm just going to come into my white face paint here, okay? And I'm just picking up a little bit on my brush. Face paint goes a long way. It goes way further than concealer and further than any eyeshadow. And I'm packing this on here. So I'm using a packing motion versus a swiping motion. So you're using it just like you would eyeshadow if I was packing an eyeshadow right here. Because I want a very white base. Remember, I am putting silver on top of this, so the whiter my base, white, not wide, my base, the more my silver's gonna pop on this cut crease, okay? Hey, how's the baby? So I'm packing, and I'm kind of going in a couple of layers because I just really want a white base. Black will always be hard to cover, so you just have to be patient with it. But blacks make the prettiest cut creases. Okay, you can kind of see you'll lose a little bit of your precision here. I'll show you how to go back and fix that in just a second. As long as I've been doing this, I still sometimes lose some of that really straight, firm line. I've just learned how to go back and fix it. I haven't taken the tape off the other side, only because I didn't absolutely need to like I did this side. As I said, I have to bring my tail out a little further on this side to compensate for my lack of a tail on my eyebrow, because gee, thanks to my mom and dad, my face is like super asymmetrical, where you can notice that it is asymmetrical. So, yay me. What time? I gotta hurry. Okay, I have to hurry. Alright guys, so we're gonna pack this in here. I'm gonna shut up for a while because I'm just gonna get this in. I am supposed to be somewhere real soon, so I'm going to go back in with my precision brush. Where are you, precision brush? Where? There it is. I'm gonna go back in with him real quick on my black, and I'm just gonna buff out where I hit the white, where I hit it with the white and I didn't want to. And I will tell you, if you're doing a dramatic cut crease like this, you do not need dramatic eyeliner. I just do a simple tight line when I'm going this dramatic with my eye makeup. And cut creases, no matter what color you put in there, ladies, it will be dramatic. Just because that is what it is geared toward. Alright, going in with that silver and a packing brush. I love my packing brush, my Luxie 14, and I am just digging into that silver because silver is not a super pigmented color. And I am going to mix it a little bit with a light color to give it pigment, just so that the silver pops against it. And I might actually have to break it up a little bit. Some of your shadows are gonna pack with these packing brushes, because that's really what they're meant to do. You have to take the end of your brush and break it a little bit. Not a lot, just a little, and just pack it on in there. Just pack it. You are not worried. This doesn't take near as long. You are not worried about a gradient. You are just packing on top of that white. That's all you're doing. It's one color. It's not like our gradients up above the cut. One solid color. You could do a cut crease where you are doing multicolored or multi-gradient, and that is fine. I do those too. They are really fun to do. Just not what I'm looking for with this one. So as you can see, I'm just kind of digging into it with the end of my brush. Nothing like crazy. I'm not breaking the whole powder. But you can see the silver is building in there. Okay? It's kind of a grayish silver. That's okay. I wasn't looking for like crazy metallic. If you are looking for crazy metallic stuff, face paint's the way to go. If you do face paint, please set it with a powder, translucent or a powder of a similar color. Because if you don't, you're going to transfer. You are going to transfer bad. I learned it the hard way. Thankfully, I wasn't in public. I was just playing around the house, and I started feeling like my eyeball was sticky. And I went in, and everything that I had done here was up here. Yeah, it was humorous to my children who saw the whole thing, and I was like, oh my God, I can only imagine what my children think of me right now. They probably think Mom is some crazy freak. All right. Fun. Really fun. Like I said, normally I can create those cut creases in about 10 minutes, usually, give or take. I got to excuse myself to go get my micellar water. That I know I put down here. Okay. I'm naughty Bill. Alright, micellar water. Best makeup remover in the world and doesn't leave anything oily behind. So it's really easy to put your makeup on top of it. And I say that as I'm smearing this black. I'm just cleaning up where I took the tape off and making that a sharper line. Once I have my line in, I'm going to take one of my rounds, or not. And I'm just going to get this to go away. If you notice any fallout of your black below your eye, please don't touch it. You're going to pack it in. Take one of your face powder brushes and just lightly brush it away. Okay? Everybody knows how to do foundation. I should hope so. Okay, all right. Face was already primed prior to this. I'm going to grab my face brush. And I know about how much it takes. I do things a certain way. Some people build it in. I just place it on my face and I will brush it as I go. And I'm brushing. Please get under your chin or I will see those circles. Get up next to your ear. The whole point of brushing our hair backwards prior to this was so that we didn't have foundation lines. You're going to come right up underneath. I am not doing any pigment below my eye today, because this cut crease is so dramatic, it just doesn't need an introduction. And then I like this brush. I can get right up next to my clean line and it pushes my foundation right up next to it. I don't ever do my foundation before my eyeshadow because I use a cream foundation and powder sets in cream. That is why we put the face paint before the silver. That silver set that cream product, face paint is a cream product, and set its pigment. If you have, especially if you're doing anything with black, if you have a cream foundation, so a liquid foundation on your skin, you are setting black powder under your eye. You may think you got it all. I promise you didn't, and I will see it. Or some other makeup artist will too. We absolutely will see it. It will make you look like you have black eyes. You may think it's a trick of the light. No, it's not. It's really there. Like I said, I already sculpted out my eyes, or my eyebrows. This brush can get right next to where I sculpted. So, and I'm getting right up in my hairline. Guys, I'm a blonde, so if I get a little bit in my hair, it's not as noticeable as some of you brunettes. Brunettes, please still take it up to that hairline. If you got to get a little bit of a wet washcloth to get it out, do so. Because when you don't get up close enough, you create an orange circle. Orange. Or at least it appears orange. Mine would just appear ghostly white because I have cool undertones, so I buy a foundation by Bare Minerals that has cooler, bluer undertones. But if you have warm undertones, you look orange. Like Willy Wonka's Oompa Loompa. Okay. I am probably not going to go in with a super full contour, only because now I'm on a time limit. I am going to, I'm going to cheat it. And I'm going to show you how to cheat it. Because this is a perfect time to learn when to cheat your contour. And I am going to find the lip color that I wanted today. And I actually decided I'm going to go with Napa. It is a red, but it has some purple underneath it. Super pretty. I do not line my lips. I know my lips well enough that I don't usually feel like I need to. This is Lip Sense, so 3 layers, 3 thin layers, ladies. Okay. I just know how it feels, so I'm able to just throw it on there. I'm going to throw on some brush and some highlighter, and I'm going to set everything with a translucent powder, and we're going to call it good. If you have any questions, please hit me up on Facebook, but for now, I'm going to say goodnight.